hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. I'm glad to be here with you today. It's another day to get it right in God. Amen. And today we're going over the meaning of Matthew chapter 8. Thank you for anybody and everybody that come across and learn this chapter with me. Like I've always said, I'm just eager every week to come back and do another chapter just for somebody. I know there's somebody out there that feels the same way that I do and want to get to know God. And, you know, I really don't know if this is the right way to do it, just reading chapter after chapter, but I'm just going with the flow. I'm going with God and everything seems right. So I'm going to continue to do what I do. I'm going to continue to be faithful in Him. I'm just going to continue because it's working out for my good. Amen. So without further ado, God, just work through me. This is your platform. I'm just your vessel. And I'm going to read this Matthew chapter 8 and go through it. And like I've always did, try to learn. And just for anybody else that's out there, what I've learned is that you can go on YouTube and, look at the Gospel of Matthew or any Gospel of Joseph, any of those, and actually get a better understanding of the chapter that you're reading about. It's so helpful, you know. God has been a blessing to me, and I just want to be a blessing to somebody else that may not know it or just hadn't tried to do that. That's a good tool to help you also to get to know the Bible better or get a better understanding. Just like what I'm doing, I also read the Bible, but this is just an extra tool. I use this Bible reference in order to, to help me and whoever else that comes across and actually goes through with it with me. It's a great tool to use. So by all means, check it out. The movies, the Gospel of Matthew, I've watched that, of Joseph, of John, Moses, and they're all very informative and very good. Some of the women, Esther, Deborah in the Bible, let's see. I think so far that may be all that I have went over so far, but I'm steady learning, so I'm sure it's going to be plenty more that I look at, but it's helping tremendously, and I'm really enjoying it. So hopefully this helps one of you guys. But Matthew chapter 8 meaning, it starts off as, after completing his report on Jesus' teaching in the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew turns to demonstrating Jesus' authority over disease, demons, and even the weather. Instead of telling the story of Jesus' ministry in strict chronological order, Matthew groups Jesus' miracles into a series of stories beginning with this chapter. The emphasis on miracles runs through chapter 11, where the focus will turn to Jesus' teaching and parables. First, Jesus is approached by a man afflicted with some kind of skin disease. The Greek terms used here are the source of the modern term leprosy, though they originally referred to a wide range of conditions. Such persons were not only stricken with the disease, they were shunned from public life and ceremonially unclean. Boldly and with great faith and humility, the man kneels before Jesus and says that he can make him clean if he wants to. Jesus touches the man, even though the law says that touching a leper makes a person unclean. In this case, though, the leper is immediately healed. Jesus commands him to go to the priest and to be declared clean, without telling anyone what had happened. Next, in Jesus' adopted hometown of Capernaum, Jesus is approached by messengers from a Roman centurion. Centurions were military officers commanding as many as several hundred men. The officer's servant is paralyzed, suffering greatly, and on the verge of death. Jesus agrees to come to the centurion's home to heal the man, but the Roman officer says he is unworthy to have Jesus in his home. Instead, he points out that Jesus only needs to say the word to heal his servant. The centurion compares Jesus' authority over the natural world of human biology to that of his own authority as the Roman officer. He is both under authority and holds authority over his soldiers. He speaks a word and it is immediately carried out. He knows Jesus can do the same. Jesus marvels at the man's great faith, even though he is a Gentile, saying that he has not found anything like it in Israel. Jesus teaches the crowd that many Gentiles will be in the kingdom of heaven, along with Abraham and the patriarchs. Not every Israelite will be there. However, the key measure is not ethnicity or culture, but faith in him. Jesus speaks the word, and the man's servant is immediately healed. Next, Jesus goes to Peter's house and heals Peter's mother-in-law from a fever. He spends the evening healing many people of sickness and casting out demons. Matthew connects this to a statement found in Isaiah 53:4, part of longer Old Testament description of the Messiah's earthly ministry. At some point in time, Jesus prepares to cross the Sea of Galilee. Two men approach claiming interest in following Christ. The first, a scribe, saying he is willing to follow Jesus. Christ responds by telling him that this will not bring the scribe fame, fortune, wealth, or power. The implication seems to be that this man was looking for prestige, not truth. The other man refers to burying his father before following Jesus. Most likely he meant that he would wait until his father had died, or that he would observe the customary 1-year wait to rebury a loved one's bones. Again, Jesus answers in a way that challenges the man's assumptions. In this case, the man wants to delay following Christ until a more convenient time. Jesus quips that the man should not wait, rather that he should leave the dead to bury their own dead. Then Jesus gets into a boat with his disciples to escape the crowds, get some rest, and sail to the other side of the Sea of Galilee. While Jesus is sleeping, a sudden and violent storm springs up. Waves pour water into the boat. This is not a minor storm, given that the experienced fishermen among the disciples are in fear for their lives. They wake Jesus up and cry out to him to save them. He asks why they have so little faith. And immediately, storm stops the storm dead with a command to the wind and the waves. The disciples are astonished and wonder what kind of man they are following. When the boat reaches the other side of the lake, Jesus is confronted by 2 demon-possessed men. This account is also depicted in Mark chapter 5, verse 1 through 20. The demons recognize him as the Son of God. He casts them into a huge herd of pigs, who immediately rush into the sea and drown. The people of the region are afraid and ask Jesus to leave. Okay, that is the commentary, and we're just going to go over the short version of the summary of the chapter 8. And it says, Matthew begins a series of stories revealing Jesus' authority over sickness, demons, and even the weather. Jesus heals a humble man with leprosy and great faith. He then heals the servant of a Roman centurion who understands that Jesus does not need to come to his home. He can just speak a word. Jesus praises the Gentile man's amazing faith. After healing many more, Jesus and the disciples get caught in a deadly storm on the Sea of Galilee. Jesus stops the storms with the word. Later, he casts demons out of 2 men and into a huge herd of pigs. Okay, that is basically the meaning of chapter 8. I hope you all enjoyed this chapter. I did as well. I've went on and watched the Gospel of Matthew. So I'm kind of ahead, but I'm still going to keep going from chapter to chapter. It's actually helping me understand what I'm reading here in the Bible. So I'm just excited. Like it comes to life for me, as I read, because I've already seen the Gospel of Matthew. So it's just a blessing. It really is a blessing. But I love you guys, and I'll see you next week for the reading of Matthew chapter 9. Have a great day and a great week. Bye-bye.